Welcome to Cash Queen TV. I'm your host, Belinda Goos. I'm so happy to be here with you. April 2025, a lot going on from a political and financial perspective. I thought today that I'd speak a little bit about the financial hierarchy of needs. So some of you might have heard about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and that is the topic that we're talking today, but I've transmuted it more towards our financial needs. So there are several financial needs that we have, from the basic, obviously, of having some form of income that you are able to pay all your bills. You're able to put shelter over your head. You're able to send your kids to school. You're able to put gas in your car, etc. So that's really, if we look at the framework, we've got the baseline, which is cash flow and your basic needs. When I mean cash flow, it's understanding that you have all your needs met, and then there's a little bit at the end that you can use towards saving, goals, investing. I love the book by Ann Wilson. It's called The Wealth Chef. Personal, really good book. Have a look at it, go online. Ann Wilson's got incredible courses. There's a Kickstarter course. That's your first one. It's actually free for a limited time and for limited members. And then she's got more advanced courses. In this book, she puts cash flow into a very smart perspective. She literally takes the whole investing from a perspective of a baker. How you would start in terms of providing or creating a recipe for wealth. It's really an incredible book. Again, I can't say enough. She also talks about how to proportion your salary in terms of percentages, how much you should be spending towards investing, how much towards your daily life and your basic needs. So it's really important if you're one of the beginners and you're kind of wanting to understand how to structure your salary or your income. If you're working, obviously, for a company, then you've got a salary, how to break that down, how much should be, what percentage should be towards your daily needs and monthly needs, and then the other percentages that she recommends that you put aside for specific goals, that holiday, family holiday that you've been dreaming about, putting some money aside for that, putting an emergency fund aside, and then obviously investing, which is a very paramount to you creating real and lasting legacy wealth. For all of you that are entrepreneurs, you understand that often your income is cyclical and it goes in terms of your business income. So it's still relevant in terms of percentages that you should be putting aside from a business perspective or a personal perspective towards investing, saving, goals, upgrades, all of those really good things. This book I bought quite a few years ago. I found it extremely insightful. It helped me really get the fundamentals and basics in my life structured, so that I don't overspend, and that before I spend on a luxury item, I think 2 and 3 times, do I really need it? Is this going to push me further away from my wealth goals, or is this pushing me towards it? Ann Wilson's very good in obviously promoting also investing in yourself. If it's an expense that's got to do with buying a book that you can learn on something new, buying a course, educating yourself on investing, that's all going to bring you further money and further prosperity going forward. So I'm hoping one of these days that I'll get Ann Wilson onto my podcast, and then I'd be able to interview her and understand her story. She's got an incredible story in her book of her journey and where she is. Would love to, and hopefully soon we'll have that on the channel. But anyway, let's move on. So if you can imagine, here you go, have a look at the hierarchy. At the bottom, you've got cash flow and basic needs. The next item, you've got financial safety, where there you've got your little safety net. You've got your savings, you've got your goals, and you're putting them separately into different pots. as Anne Wilson will have it in her book, and you're keeping that for rainy days. And then accumulating wealth is your third level. Accumulating wealth is where you've got other strategies, where you are your investment strategy, you've got that pot, and you successfully been putting into that pot for over a few months, a few years. You've got a portfolio, a very, very nice, diverse portfolio, and you've got multiple streams of investments and multiple incomes coming through. So either through having side hustles that, or a side hustle that's bringing you quite a bit of income, and you may be at that level where you're now, your side hustle is providing just as much, if not more income than your baseline income structure. So that's really at your third part, and you now thinking about going into that side hustle, maturing that business, expanding that business, upscaling it, at that level. And then financial freedom is literally when you've hit your pinnacle, your desired goal-oriented pinnacle. If you're in a company, you've gotten that promotion that you really wanted. It's giving you that form of income that you want. It's giving you surplus. You're able to restructure your investing. You've got another 1 or 2 pots that you can go and invest in. That holiday becomes a realization, or your business, your side hustle, or the business that you have has gotten that deal, or has gotten that customer or customers, and you've upscaled, and now it's really starting to bear fruit, and your investments are starting to bear fruit, and you've got a lot more money coming in, and you've got more freedom in terms of whatever you want. Freedom comes in many forms. So it can be financial freedom, where you can buy the car that you want, so the house that you want. You can upscale, upgrade, or if you want time as your bargaining chip or your freedom, then you have more time. You don't have to work weekends or those public holidays, whatever that means to you. So your fourth level would be your financial freedom, and yeah, it's where you've got long-term investments that are really bearing fruit. You've got sufficient retirement savings, your children's education, you've got more than enough for that. You've got more than enough for that. Those holidays that you want to take once or twice or 4 times a year, you've got more than enough, and you've got extra and emergency funds that are really, really doing well. And then your last level, which is now your legacy, or altruistic, where you have all your altruistic goals. So as part of my hierarchy of needs, I decided to start Cash Queen TV for people who, like me, had started on a journey and were wanting more, were wanting to understand how financial systems work, and wanted to understand and unlock the secrets that were out there, and I wanted to understand how to get ahead and how could my money multiply. So in terms of the fifth and last level on the hierarchy, you've got legacy. So that's literally where you've got your estate planning. Very important that at any age, you can be 20 years old and already be at your legacy, and you can already start on your estate planning. Obviously making sure that obviously tax, that you've taken that into account. And then if you're a little bit older, then you start looking at your business succession planning if you're an entrepreneur. Very important that you hand it over to somebody. Just remember that if you have children and they are not really interested in that you start looking at, your management team and start seeing if there's someone there that you would hand over to. Or there's always the ideal where you can go out and look for an appropriate partner to sell your business off in portions and to create that succession plan. But for me, I'm not ready for that yet. So for me, it was more altruistic goals. So all of my long-term goals in terms of investing are really doing nicely. They're multiplying, and I've got multiple pots there. There's a few that I'm still wanting to grow a bit more and haven't matured. But in terms of my top tier level, in terms of altruistic goals was to start this channel. And the idea was not about me making money. It was about me giving back my time and giving back all the pearls of wisdom that I had picked up along the way from many, many, many people, authors, like I mentioned, Anne Wilson. Very important. She gave me many pearls of wisdom, which I use today religiously and are ingrained in who I am as a person. So it was about passing that forward to other ladies that may have found themselves in a predicament that I was in 15, 16 years ago. For those of you who don't know my story, almost 16 years ago, I found myself divorced with 2 little children, 3 and 4-year-old. Had literally worked with my previous spouse in a business, had given 100% to that, and within 2 to 3 years, I exited the business. Wasn't really paid out properly, and I found myself in dire straits. I had to sell my home, change my car. I had to, well, let's just say most people have had to do that at some stage. I had to downgrade everything, including even some of my friends. A lot of my friends weren't my friends anymore. I'm sure those of you who've had a divorce, I think that's maybe a natural part of things, where some friends obviously prefer to be friends with your spouse instead of you, whatever the case may be. I found myself feeling very alone and very isolated, and I needed to make a plan quickly. The income that I was receiving was drying up, and I had to make some massive changes. And I think the first change I had to make was a mindset change. I feel that I was very negative. I felt like there were many secrets out there, and no one wanted to share them. I'm really happy that I started looking at different authors, different books. I started reading and started to realize, but there's a huge amount of information out there. It's down to me to go and fetch it. No one's coming to save me. I need to do it myself. I'm the knight in shining armor that I've been waiting for. And ever since I changed that belief system within me, I've been able to take charge and could take control of my financial future. And in so doing, I've met so many people along the way. And in the coming weeks, you'll be meeting quite a few of my financial investment partners. Fed Group is one of them. Years ago, I did some research with them. I had gone to Investec, I went to PSG and several others, wanting to understand how I could restructure my investing. I had put quite a bit away in terms of savings, and I now wanted to take it to the next level. And I interviewed several large financial companies to do so, and I found one that really ticked most of my boxes, and soon we will be having an interview with them. And then there's another company that I found along the way, also a company called Currency Hub, and they do crypto arbitrage. And if that sounds French, don't worry about it. We're going to be in one of our future podcasts talking about what is crypto, what is blockchain, and what is crypto arbitrage. So if any of you know what arbitrage means, it's literally the difference. Every day, ideally, you buy something at a price, you mark it up, and then you sell it. So arbitraging is creating a difference and capitalizing from that. So we'll be talking to Currency Hub soon in the next few weeks, and I'll explain to you what I do with them and how I invest in terms of arbitrage and what that entails. So I'm very excited about the next few weeks. We're going to be talking to some very smart people, but very kind people from Fed Group and from Currency Hub, who have got incredible businesses, and their values and belief systems are very in line with what I believe is in transmitting information, allowing people to capitalize off this information, and creating better lives. And if everybody wins, we've got a more prosperous world out there. It's about creating an open, democratized, capitalized society that anybody, from someone who was a housewife with 2 kids, can create a financial and investing portfolio that makes meaningful sense to you as a person, not just relying on your broker to decide on everything and cherry pick your investment portfolio, but that you have more insight into exactly what they're choosing, why they're choosing that, and having a bit more control in that, and in terms of your destiny and how that looks and how that gets shaped. So that's really my heart to you. Also, in the coming weeks, we will be having a few other hosts. We've got another 2 hosts that will be taking over some of the shows. It's not just me. I'm just a cash queen, and I hope that you will join me. We've got a website. Please go to www.cashqueentv.com or subscribe in the bottom. Click the bell, subscribe, and become one of our cash queens. We send our newsletters every 2 weeks, just giving you more insight and new hacks into investment planning, some new products that are coming out. Be the first to know about these. And see you at the top. And soon, hopefully, you can wear a good crown. We'll see you soon. Thank you.